Hey there, it's Dr. Josia. Welcome back to the channel where we talk about all things love and dating for professional women like you. As you know, I'm a board certified physician and I am a love and dating coach for professional women. And if we haven't met, nice to meet you. And if we've met before, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about needs versus wants when it comes to seeing what you're looking for in a desired partner, future husband, spouse. Okay, and I think it's really important to have a list of what you are looking for, because if you don't know what you're looking for, how will you know that you found it, right? And so with that said, let's kind of get into that a little bit more. Excuse me. And let's get into what that will look like when you have your list. Now, first of all, let's kind of put some guidelines in place. Our list is not rigid. Our list is not to be done at a time of when you're hungry or you're tired or you're angry. You want to be calm and collected. Probably play some nice music to set the mood. Obviously, I want you to pray. We've talked about prayer being our secret power when it comes to dating in the previous video. We also talked about tapping into our gut, our intuition, the Holy Spirit as a superpower given to women, our hidden secret power when it comes to dating. So we want to make sure we have all these components in place before we make our list. All right? And so when we talk about making this list, it's not rigid, it can be fluid. And I also want you to consider the woman you are today is not the same woman you were when you were in your 20s or even in your early 30s. I say that to say you might have had preferences when you were younger that you may still hold on to because you feel you have to hold on to them. But the truth is, it may not be that important to you now. Right? So, for example, maybe you had in your list in the past, you wanted someone who made six figures like you did, like you do now. And that's still a great goal to have, right? All the, I'm not going to stop anyone from in their bag. Get your money and grow your wealth and build for generations. Money is a blessing. But you may now be at a point in your career, in your life, where it's not so much necessary that your husband to be, your partner to be, your spouse to be, makes six figures. But it might be more important that he's good with money and that he is open to learning and growing if he doesn't already have that knowledge base in place. Or that you want someone who, he may not be six figures, but he has an investment account. He has a retirement account. He is, has little to no debt. That might be more important than just, quote, a six-figure income, because trust me, and you probably know in your own circles, there are plenty of six-figure people out there who are living paycheck to paycheck. So that's just one example of how you may have had previous things on your list that may not resonate for you now or be as important now. All right? So when you think about what you're looking for, you pray about it first, and then you start writing from the heart. And then step back and then edit if needed to see, okay, well, I wrote, he has to be this height. Is that really necessary at this point? Or, that he's, good with kids, but I don't have kids at this point. I don't plan to have kids. Like, this goes back to looking at what were your interests in the past that you may still carry on versus what is important to you right now. Maybe what's more important to you right now is that he's willing to travel because you like to travel, that he has global entry, that he has lounge access, right? Or if you do have children, that he is okay with being around your children. Or if he has his own set of children, that you'll get along with them. I mean, that's not necessarily something you can put on your first list. That will be down the line as you date and develop a relationship. But you want to kind of think holistically in different aspects of life. What are the things that will be important? Is sex important? Having good sex, and compatibility. That's on your list. What about spirituality? As is somebody who you want to have a prayer, that you want them to have a prayer life? Is it important to you that you pray together? Or is it important that he just prays? Maybe he's not comfortable praying with you, but he still prays on his own. Um, is it very important that he attends church? Or more important, he has a relationship with God? These are things you want to kind of start teasing out. So spirituality, fitness. Okay, is it somebody who works out? Is it somebody who eats healthy? Is it someone who doesn't smoke or who drinks but maybe not heavily? Okay, or they use marijuana or cannabis. It's become more prevalent and more socially acceptable. Is that something you're okay with? So you kind of think about different domains. So you're thinking about fitness, you're thinking about finance, you're thinking about spiritual, you're thinking about sexual connection, family connection, whether that's existing children or your own family to connect with. We talked about travel, education. Again, this is someone who has to have a master's or a doctorate, or it's sufficient that they learned how to code online and they're doing well in a software company. Because there's now a lot of jobs that are paying well where degrees are not required. And we live in a day and age where knowledge is accessible. So you start thinking about these different domains. Again, we're not making it rigid. We're not writing the 10 commandments. But what we are doing is at least expressing our preferences. And I emphasize we don't want to be rigid, because in being rigid, you can miss out on a potentially great partner. You might meet someone who at this current stage of their life may not have, quote, all the things on your list, but they have a growth mindset. They are willing to learn. They are willing to try new things. And they might, down the line, you realize, oh, hey, he initially didn't like to travel, but he's cool with it now. Or he didn't like to work out, now he does, and we do 5Ks together, whatever the example is. So it allows you to be giving yourself grace, and it allows you to give your future partner grace. Because one of the most key things that are important in dating and in building relationships that last is grace. Far too often on television and in social media, our nature craves and thrives on drama and entertainment. And many times when we watch conflicts happen, it's because grace wasn't extended to that other person. So you're like, what did you say about me? Well, I didn't say. And then they start snapping on each other. Next thing you know, water glasses are being thrown around, shoes are being flung, and there's a whole cat fight. Or balloons are getting popped before someone even walks in the door without much thought, just kind of off the cuff. And then as a person starts to talk, they're like, oh, I didn't realize that about you. So as we are, and again, this is focused for those of us who are in our late 30s, 40s, and beyond, professional, already establishing your career, as you're looking to find a partner for lifelong, for marriage, for, second marriage, if that's your situation, or if you've been widowed, you probably already have a sense that you want to approach things differently than you have before. You probably may be willing to give more grace and more leniency than you did before. This is not to say that you accept any and everything that comes through the door. This is why you have your list, okay, of things you're looking for. And then here's a key important thing when you make this list as well. As you look at the things you're desiring, ask yourself, do I fit my own list? Am I good with money? Do I work out? Do I have a growth mindset? Do I pray? Do I attend church? Whatever your desires are, right? You want to, again, give yourself grace too, but also we want to be realistic in what we put out there, because we're going to, as we put ourselves out in dating situations, what we put out is what we're going to receive, okay? So I'll use myself as an example. For most of my life, I didn't really work out or was athletic. I kind of think I wasn't given all the opportunities to, with growing up with, immigrant parents. The focus was school. There's a saying in Creole, l'école, la caille, l'église, which means school, home, and church, and just those three places. And the few times I tried to try out for the basketball team or the volleyball team, and I came home a bit late, my parents were like, oh, we're going to call the police. Why'd you come home so late? We're so worried about you. So they were more concerned about safety, and so they didn't really nurture an environment to play sports and to do the summer activities and all of that. Plus, we also had some financial constraints around that. So I didn't really have an active lifestyle growing up. When I started residency, I desired to get more active. So I started at that time of running. And so that was back in, residency was probably but like in 2012 is when I made the decision I wanted to run a 10-miler race in Philly, where I grew up. I lived near the starting line of that race and would look out the window, hearing the roar, and was like, "What's going on?" And then realized this was an annual event. And so that started my journey in running, and then from there into other physical activities. So when it came time for me to decide to date seriously and not date casually, I put in my online dating profiles that I wanted someone who was fit. And I didn't say it explicitly. What I did was I put pictures of me at my races holding my medals at the finish line. Pictures of me working out in order to attract someone who also worked out. Okay? And so my husband happens to be an award-winning bodybuilder. I mean, that's, if you had told me before I got into fitness, hey, this is the person you're going to end up with, I would not have believed it at all. But what was intentional for me when I made my list of desires was I wanted someone who kind of fit what I was already doing and where I'm trying to go. Okay? So just sharing that story to show that, you want to be intentional. Now, once you make your list, like I said, and you edit, you've already prayed to start, I want you to pray through it again. You can put it on your phone, take it wherever you go. You can have it at home on paper. I like having it on the phone because it's mobile with you and it's dynamic because you can edit as needed. And so it helps then, now that you've clarified and you have set intention, you've prayed over it, that when you go on dates, you'll be clearly able to determine, does this person fit most of the things on the list. Now, let's think of it similar to a resume or a job application. I'm going to use another analogy. Most women in general, especially with Black women, we don't always apply for jobs unless we feel we fit 100% of all the criteria. Whereas men will apply for a job if they hit 75% of the criteria. And they tend, so I use that as an example to say, when it comes now with dating, we don't have to have the person hit 100% of the criteria. A C is okay. There's still room to grow. There's still room to improve. And so, again, the foundational part is grace. The foundational part is, do you fit your own list that you put? Take in consideration that the things that you might have held on to dearly when you were younger may not be as important now. And that's okay. That doesn't take away from who you are or for your values. And we also don't want to be so rigid. Like I said, we don't be so rigid that we miss out on something, but also we don't want to have no list at all, that we just accept any old thing that comes our way, because we're better than that. All right? So I hope this helped you. I know this was a quick video. If you want to dig a bit deeper, feel free to connect with me. I have my contact info in the show notes, and I look forward to talking to you next time.